Are we live, ladies and gentlemen? Are we live in the chat? Let's make sure the audio is good. We got the stream recording. We're good to go. Ladies and gentlemen, the LA Rams opened up their season today, facing off against the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. Ladies and gentlemen, football is back. Rams fans, Rams football is back, ladies and gentlemen. The post-game Sean McVay speeches are back, ladies and gentlemen. Now listen, before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and sub to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. You're a recurring member. You guys know the deal. This is another episode of UDK Sports Talk. I'm your host, Alex Cruz. I got a special guest appearance with my son, Angel. He's right here, so he might be popping in and out of the stream. But ladies and gentlemen, we got to chop it up about the LA Rams. Ladies and gentlemen, they ended up beating the Kansas City Chiefs by a score of 20-12 today. And there are a lot of takeaways that I have following this game. We're going to be reacting to the numbers. We're going to be showing some clips and the differences between Stetson Bennett and Tai Simpson. I don't want to be that guy, but if I'm being honest with you guys, QB2 is not Stetson Bennett. Get him out of here. What I saw with Tai Simpson today, he made me eat crow because as all of you know, I was very critical of him for those reports that came out when he was in those OTAs, and they said that he couldn't stand out against Stetson Bennett. And ladies and gentlemen, what I saw today was a quarterback who's miles ahead of Stetson Bennett, and he is a guy that, ladies and gentlemen, in this situation with Sean McVay learning underneath Matthew Stafford, I don't want to be that guy, but I think I saw enough. And yes, it might be preseason, and yes, he was going up against backups, but I think he showed us today that there's something there that we can build with. And that's all you can ask for, because heading into this game, that was the biggest takeaway, ladies and gentlemen. And we ended up getting some positive things following this game. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to like, comment, and sub to the channel. Check off the bell notification icon to become part of the family. And ladies and gentlemen, before we get into this video, I know I told you guys I was going to be bringing you all a live feed podcast. And today, I was going to say unfortunately, but fortunately for us, we ended up going to an event out in New York. It was in Westchester County, and I ended up meeting a couple of Knicks. We ended up getting a couple of autographs. I did the whole father-son thing, kind of similar to what I did with Puka Nacua. And some networking opportunities came about. I ended up meeting some really, really good people some opportunities came about that really helped the growth of this channel and the things that we're doing here. And because of that, I ended up staying much longer than I had anticipated at the event, which led to me not being able to make it back in time. It was roughly a 2-hour drive, 2.5-hour drive, give or take, with traffic. Might have been more than that to get back to the crib. So there was no way I was going to be able to get you all a live feed podcast following the game. And to be honest with you, I was trying to watch as much as I could while driving home. I was stuck in a lot of traffic, so I was able to see most of the game. But ladies and gentlemen, there were some things that popped off the screen, and we got to talk about it, man. Number one, the first thing we're going to talk about, because there's a lot of positives. We could talk about Dean Connors. We could talk about Wesley Bailey. All right. We could talk about how the defense looked and collapsed in the pocket. We could talk about how great the offensive line looked. But we're going to start, number one, with the quarterback 2 battle, baby. QB2, which after today, I am convinced it's Tai Simpson, not Stetson Bennett. I don't care how much he knows the offense, Sean McVay. It's time. It's time. He just looks like the better prospect. And I'll leave it at that. Papa, leave the Rams helmet right there. My son's trying to take the Rams helmet. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's pull up the research mode. You guys know the deal. Let's go. So, hold up. Let's pull the bad boy up. So, those are the stats. But we're going to be reacting to drive one. And hold up. Let me pull up the text because we have to do this beforehand. Copyrights owned by the LA Rams and the NFL. So let's go. Let's pull this bad boy up. So we're going to be reacting to some of Stetson Bennett's throws. So let's go. Great release by Xavier Smith right there. He generated a lot of separation. Off a bootleg.
Yeah.
Great play call. Better execution by the receiver. Yeah, baby.
What's that?
So there's the run by Jarquez Hunter. Love the way Hunter looked in this game. Showed that explosive burst that you saw at Auburn. Good running back prospect. I spoke about him on this channel multiple times. Let's get to the throws. Sorry, you guys. Let's fast forward. So this play right here, great scheme, great draw, play design, I should say. So you got my mans running the flat underneath. They're chasing the wide action, the stretch play. We call it wide zone. And then you have the receiver coming back inside, selling that fake. So right there, bang. Caught my man, who's that, number 20? Caught him slipping, wide open, big time play. And Presley looked phenomenal. Picked up where he left off last year, 100%. Look at this. There's a better view of it. I don't want to keep going on, but you'll get it. Look, sell the fake, like you're running that wide action. Got the receiver coming underneath. Bang. They all chase. That's 30. Wide open. Great play design, great scheme. Fantastic. Now, mind you, in this game, Stetson Bennett went 4-6, didn't get many snaps. Great run. Great hole by O-line, the O-line for opening that up. So here we go, 3rd-and-1. Quick, easy. Another great play design. Send the tight end in motion. It's kind of like an RPO, but not really. It's a design play fake. Gets it out. Ball's out quick. And everything seemed pretty simple for Stetson Bennett. But here's where I want to chop it up. It's 3rd and goal right now. This is where he puts the ball in harm's way. Wasn't a bad read, but he needed to do better. But for somebody who's, year 3, year 4? I want to say, year 3 right now? Year 3 or 4? I forget how many years he has in the league. But you need to be better with your accuracy right now. You need to stop making errant throws, putting the ball into harm's way. And ladies and gentlemen, this throw right here is a ball that's being put into harm's way. So let's go through it. So first off, great release by C.J. Daniels, but he can't go here because you got the linebacker lurking in the middle. So he takes the outside play, but this is a poorly thrown ball. I'm sorry. It's a poorly thrown ball. See that right there? This cannot be behind the receiver. You see this right here? This cannot happen. All right? And this is exactly why I'm saying the things that I'm saying right now with the quarterback 2 position. If you're doing this against backups, I have no confidence that you're going to be able to get the job done with the starters, going up against the ones, if we need you in a pinch. Okay? Look at this. This is behind him. This should be a pick. This ball, if you want to have a chance to complete it, it needs to be on this shoulder right here. This is where the ball needs to be. All right? So this right here was the first throw with any degree of difficulty. And this was a bad pass. So we'll play it again. I didn't like the way it looked. Look. There's a chance, but you got to be right here. And to be honest with you, let me see if they were getting after it. Listen, all he needs to do right here. So I'm assuming this is predetermined for him to go here. This right here is a good pocket. You need to, right here, and this was the knock on him, right? Quick to move out the pocket, right? Quick to run. Where's the pocket awareness? You see, what needed to happen right here, look, he gets pressured right into him. He needed to step up into this pocket. He would have had this receiver right here wide open. Look how this play goes. This receiver runs right into him. Forget who that is right there. He's going to be wide open in the back of the end zone. And ladies and gentlemen, that right there perfectly sums up why I am not confident in Stetson Bennett. This is exactly why we made the criticisms that we did on this channel. And it is because, hold on, let's pull up the full view, because that wraps up the totality of his highlights, okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I pick up where I left off talking about Stetson Bennett, I want to apologize to you guys. So I didn't see that the camera wasn't set up on the second angle. So I ended up recording the audio, so you just get that yellow box at the bottom of your screen. I apologize about that. I ended up fixing it. Completely forgot. I did an experiment with something yesterday, and I ended up changing the camera because we're working towards getting a live podcast, and I'm working on with a buddy of mine right now. And unfortunately, I didn't realize that. I had used that as the testing thing, and the camera angle was out of there. But it doesn't matter. I fixed it, so now we're back. So going back to Stetson Bennett, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. Happy feet. I don't like his pocket awareness. He has way too much experience getting NFL reps. Yes, he understands Sean McVay's offense. He understands the verbiage. He understands how to facilitate the offense. He probably has a little bit more knowledge than Tai Simpson, obviously. Ladies and gentlemen, Tai Simpson played, 15, 16 games in college? I want to say it's 15. How many he started, right? So many games he started. Stetson Bennett is a guy that played a prolonged career in college, is a guy who has snaps in the preseason. He's had some good performances in the preseason, but he's shown a lot of shaky stuff in the preseason. Not being able to understand coverages, not seeing linebackers or players lurking underneath, trying to throw a dig route when there's a linebacker underneath and maybe two defenders underneath. Not a good read. A lot of these reads are predetermined, like I'm going there no matter what. Even reading the coverages is off. And the biggest red flag for me is why I'm not confident in Stetson Bennett is that we're still seeing the same issues that were present when we first saw him play in the preseason, okay? And that is worrisome to me. This is not me overreacting. It's just I firmly believe that you are a product of your training and your instincts. So no matter how much work you put into your craft, the one thing you'll never, ever change is your instincts. So if you naturally do not like stepping up into the pocket and being able to take a hit and make a throw down the field and go through your progressions, if you're one of those guys that's a one-read quarterback and if the first read isn't there, because a lot of it's predetermined, you're thrown all off your spot. So for me personally, based off of what I've seen throughout the totality of Stetson Bennett's short time in the NFL in terms of his preseason play with the Rams, I am not a fan of what he brings to the table. He doesn't have a great arm, okay? Accuracy is hit or miss. Does he have the stones to throw into tough coverages? Absolutely. But again, I don't like the pocket awareness. He drifts in the pocket way too much for me. You just saw multiple examples where he has a good pocket, right? Well, that play at the end, let me be fair to him. That play at the end, he has a good pocket, doesn't step up into it. That read right there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you this right now. He was looking the left side the whole time. Once he saw the linebacker was lurking, once C.J. Daniels generated that much separation, he already knew he was going to the corner route. He already knew it. He knew it. That was a predetermined read. He said, if they take it out underneath, I'm going to the back pylon. That's what happened. And ladies and gentlemen, instead of stepping up into the pocket, setting his feet, and making a more accurate throw, what we got is him just throwing it with probably not a lot of arm strength behind it. The ball almost gets picked off. But yes, that's one throw. But here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. He does a lot of that. A lot of that. He's done that a lot. That's why Rams fans have been in and out with him as the QB2. Okay? And I'm going to sit here and tell you guys this. If he needs to come in and play any meaningful minutes for the LA Rams, in terms of any meaningful snaps, the LA Rams, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, are going to be in trouble. I don't like the way he threw the ball. And if you're getting got here, like even some of the throws, when you look at him next to Tai Simpson, it's not even close. The ball just flutters. Like it's kind of like a floating football that wobbles a little bit coming off his hand. Like even some of the throws to the flat, not in stride. Even the throw to Xavier Smith when he generated that much separation, it's kind of like on his back shoulder. You get what I'm saying? Like the accuracy is just not great. And then on top of that, you're not great in the pocket. And these are things like I mentioned earlier. We are creatures of habit, ladies and gentlemen. So when we are put in those stressful positions, you're only going to go back to what you have always done. This was the knock that I had on Jared Goff. This was the only thing for me personally that I could not put Jared Goff in that upper tier of quarterback because of his inability when being pressured to still operate in that pocket and throw a seed down the field. That's not what Jared Goff had in the equation. And I'm not going to sit here and make the comparisons between the two. It's not even close. Jared Goff is a light years better quarterback, light years ahead over Stetson Bennett. But this is where the similarity I'm going with is present. Is that when Jared Goff gets pressured, he becomes the check down king. When he gets pressured, he gets flustered. When he gets pressured, he does not like getting hit, ladies and gentlemen. And because of that, he'll get happy feet in the pocket from time to time. And here's the deal. We already know how accurate Jared Goff is. And when he is going, he is one of the best throwing the ball in the league. Excuse me. But with Jared Goff, once you're able to throw some heat on him and confuse him, it is a wrap. And with Stetson Bennett, we've seen it. He does not like stepping up into the pocket. I don't know why. He struggles reading the coverages from time to time. I don't know why. He has enough experience to accurately understand coverage contours and where the ball needs to go. I'm not saying you have to be great, but you have to have an idea of how to go 1 to 2 to 3. And that's something you saw with Tai Simpson today. Now, I know I keep stressing this Stetson Bennett thing, but you guys have to understand this. This is key and crucial for this LA Rams team. This is why I said that the LA Rams need to get a vet and let Simpson develop. Because when we are turning the keys of the franchise over to a player like Stetson Bennett, and it's time to play meaningful snaps to help us win games in a pinch if need be, we need a quarterback who can get the job done and facilitate the offense. We had that with Jimmy G. Stetson Bennett is not going to do that to us. Teams are going to load up the box, force us to drop back and pass, and Stetson Bennett is not going to be able to do it because they understand that he cannot read the coverages for whatever reason. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is where we pivot, and now we talk about Tai Simpson. Because we really have to talk about Tai Simpson because I loved what I saw. And the one thing that stood out to me with Tai Simpson, first and foremost, I spoke about this on his draft evaluation. I loved his ability to read the defenses and go from reads 1 to 2 to 3. That was his strength. Remember, I came on here and told you guys this. His ability to dissect coverages and understanding where the ball needs to go based off the coverage was something that was really big for me. That was his strength. Now, remember, I came on here and told you guys, his ceiling, he could be like a Brock Purdy game manager type of quarterback. And I believe, in my opinion, that we got that today. We saw that from him. But the one thing I will tell you this, he has a much stronger arm than Brock Purdy. Much stronger than I realized. And I saw him play a lot at Alabama. But the ball looked really good coming off his hand. A tight spiral with a lot of velocity. He knew where to go. He was very decisive. And ladies and gentlemen, as good as Tai Simpson looked, was as good as the offensive line looked. We'll get to that. But the offensive line was giving this man some pockets, which allowed Tai Simpson to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Ladies and gentlemen, bravo to that offensive line, and bravo to Tai Simpson for being able to make those reads, keeping his eyes up. When he needed to use his legs to try and extend the play, he was not looking to run. And that's what Stetson Bennett does. He was not looking to run, keeping his eyes down the field, looking to where the defense was, and accurately throwing the ball. Man, he made a throw to Redmond in between the corner and the safety. You tired, buddy? Well, we're going to go to sleep soon, all right? Daddy's almost done, so I got to make this rapid fire, you guys. He made a throw in between the cornerback and the safety in cover 2, hit him in that small window, and I was like, yeah, we got one. There's certain times where you just know you got one. Last year, when Jackson Dart came in and played for the New York Giants saw they got one. He cut a throw in the red zone in which you said, oh, yeah, that's an NFL quarterback. And ladies and gentlemen, what we saw today from Tai Simpson, ladies and gentlemen, was a quarterback who could play at the next level. And here's the deal. For me, I felt like he was a little bit too much on the checkdowns, taking what the defense was giving him. I would have liked to see him try and push the ball a little bit more down the field. But that's me nitpicking. I thought he looked sensational today. And now, E. Crow, as all of you know, I was critical of him. But what I saw today from him is a guy that, as long as he's able to develop here underneath Matthew Stafford and under the tutelage of Sean McVay, ladies and gentlemen, Rams might have themselves another franchise quarterback. And here's the deal. With these rookies, you can tell. You can see it. It doesn't take long. Like, I can sit here and tell you guys this. I'm not sitting here telling you guys Carson Beck is going to be good. But y'all seen enough of him play in that first game for you to go like this. Oh, yeah, there's something there. You saw Jackson Dart play last year. And you can say, yo, there's something there. Fernando Mendoza cut a ball with razor precision point accuracy in his first appearance. And you saw there's something there. So I'm not going to overreact when I tell you guys. There's something there with the brother Tai Simpson. And again, he is, in my opinion, I'm not going to sit here and say he's great in the pocket. He's good in the pocket. But he's a modern day version of the pocket quarterback. Because, ladies and gentlemen, he has the ability to extend the play with his legs and buy some time to create a little bit off script. And he can accurately throw the ball down the field. And that is something that he showed in college. And that is why, in my opinion now, the LA Rams decided to draft him at the 13th spot. There was conviction in them drafting him, ladies and gentlemen. And they felt extremely comfortable in going his way for that 13th pick. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to sit here and tell you guys this. He flashed some signs in training camp. But what he showed today, the Rams might have got themselves one. And he needs to be QB2. I cannot do Stetson Bennett. If we need to play any backup quarterback this year, I was about to say Tai Simpson. If we have to play a backup quarterback this year, it needs to be Tai Simpson. Because Tai Simpson is way better in the pocket. He's shown that today. Okay? He's not drifting in the pocket. Drifting is basically you keep backpedaling. Keep backpedaling. Shedeur Sanders has that issue from time to time. All right? You got to be able to step up into the pocket, survey the field, and make that throw. And that's what we saw with the brother Tai Simpson today. We're going to pull up some of his highlights because this further supports what I've been telling you guys. Quick decision making, very decisive, but also understanding when to push the ball down the field, but also going through the progressions. If you notice this, the one thing I loved about Tai Simpson today, the feet were not faster than the processing speed. Because sometimes what you get with the eyes is happy feet, and your feet are not set ready to throw that ball. What you saw was 1, 2, 3, bang, out. Snap the ball, first read is open, bang. And that's why him and Max Clear looked really good today. Have really good chemistry. Let's pull up some highlights. Let's do it. Play fake, play action bootleg, block and release. Great play. Positive play. Now here's the deal. The one thing that I've really liked about Stetson Bennett, well, not Stetson Bennett, sorry, Tai Simpson today, was that Tai Simpson kept the Rams ahead of the sticks. Ahead of the sticks means you're in a positive situation, getting positive yards every play. You're not taking a negative play, meaning you're at a loss. So you take your 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6s, 2nd and 5s, and you keep getting positive gains going up and down the field. That was what I loved. Let's go. Let's do it. Look. Look at this. On the run, moving, square shoulders, good release. Look at the way that throw. That ball look coming off the release point. It's light years better, this Stetson Bennett. And remember, I came on here and told you guys this when we were evaluating the OTA thing. And I'm like, if you're a first-round quarterback, your arm talent, first and foremost, needs to stand out over Stetson Bennett. He's a 4th-round quarterback. It just has to. There are certain things that come with being a first-round quarterback. One of those is the arm talent needs to be displayed. Mofos need to see you throwing that pill, and they need to see you spinning that thing. And that's why I was so critical of him in the OTs. I'm like, yo, why you not spinning that thing? You should be spinning that thing next to Bennett. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he showed us today. He's spinning that thing. Let's go. This throw right here. Again, off the run. That's a great grab right there. Great grab. So the LA Rams looking like, listen, this is their vanilla offense, and obviously Shieldhouse is calling the plays today. But overall, I thought they looked pretty good. Now, I want to commend them. Let me pull up the full view. Sorry, you guys. I want to commend them. Because we're going to play this, and I want to pull up the full view before reacting to this, all right? Now, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. The one thing we saw today, which is why I'm saying the things that I'm saying right now about Tai Simpson, was this 2-minute drill. Now, if you watch the game, the LA Rams ended up using their timeouts to try and conserve some time, to try and see what Tai Simpson could do in a quick 2-minute drive to see if he could get them in field goal position or see if he could potentially make an explosive play happen and see if maybe he could make something happen down the field. We don't know. 25 seconds, let's see what you could do. This is situational football, ladies and gentlemen. And what we saw today with Tai Simpson was he took what the defense was giving him, methodically went up and down the field, ended up getting him into, in my opinion, field goal range. Listen, I know it's a 61-yard field goal. I would have attempted the field goal. I think maybe the reason why he didn't do it was because he didn't want Mavis to miss, and he may lose his confidence. I don't know if that might have played a role. Don't know. I'm not going to even bother to go there. But I thought he put them in a phenomenal situation to be a rookie operating the offense like that. I don't care what you tell me or how much Bennett might know over Simpson. I've seen enough. QB2. Let's pull it back up. So, to provide context, because I spoke about that, this is the start of the 2-minute drive. Well, the 2-minute drill. And I loved what he did here with 25 seconds left in the second quarter. Look. Just take what it's giving you. But you see, like this right here, even this right here, you see great protection. Yo, shout out to the O-line, man. For what it's worth, Keegan Tross was balling. Remember, I told you that Tross was like that. I told y'all. That's why you got to be tapped in with the channel. Look. You see this right here? He's in his drop back. He wanted to get it out there. He ended up, running into him, so he said, nah, bump it. But then no panic, reset the feet, get rid of the ball. Now, if you want to nitpick, right, you can say, hey, you could have went over the middle, but you can't. 2 timeouts. This is situational football, ladies and gentlemen. You need to get out through the sidelines, conserve as much time as you can, so if you have to throw something over the middle, you utilize the timeout. Excellent situational awareness by Tai Simpson. Excellent. Excellent. Here we go. Again, taking what the defense is giving you. Look at this. Look at this. Great pocket. Great, fantastic pocket. Look at this. O-line was working. But look at where his eyes start, ladies and gentlemen. He's starting off over here. Perspective. Reads it out. He reads it out. Reads it out. Bro. And we already see how they're going to be utilizing Claire. He's another receiving threat. Look. Even this right here. Just take what they're giving you. Take what they're giving you. Great move by Xavier Smith, who had a great showing. Great punt return today. Special teams look really good. We'll get into that in a little bit. Look at this. Tricky throw. Behind him. Needed to be out in front. But I like it. I like it. Now, I don't want to get copyrighted, you guys. I don't want to show all of them. But I do want to show that throw that he threw to Redford. Well, Redford. See, look. Quick bang, decisive. Get the ball out. Get the ball out. That's all it is. Get the ball out. Get the ball out. You see this a lot with him, man. Let's see. Boom. Hit that back foot. Let's go. Look. This is going back to what I'm saying about the legs. Look. Beat him. Bang. Make something happen. Just enough. Just enough. Just enough. Take whatever you could get, man. See, all of these easy completions. Get your confidence. There's the screenplay to my man's Connors, who looked great today. Great. Even the touchdown throw was good. This is the throw I'm talking about right here. Look. He reads the coverage. They're in trips right now, so I guess we call that 3x1. So this right here, see, he's playing them right here. He has this window with this corner right here, the safety over the top, throw that pass. Excellent pass. Excellent read by Tai Simpson right here. Look, he sees it unfold. Got it. Gotcha. We're not going to do all that. We're going to go to the touchdown throw. So to pull that bad boy up. Hold on. Sorry, you guys. Bear with me. We could go over to C.J. Daniels' play. Great grab by C.J. Daniels. Look at this pocket. Hold on. Look at this pocket. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, my Lord. My man's could have went to the sidelines, took a sip of water, had a snack, and then got back in the pocket to throw this. Look at this. Great throw. Good job, Simpson, man. And this is a I'm confident throw. Great grab by C.J. Daniels. Generated a lot of separation today. Easy money to Presley. Let's go over the touchdown throw. This is a tight throw. Bang. Look at that. In between two defenders. Look at this. Look at this. Connors breaks in. Defender right here. Defender underneath. Right in that window. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the Tai Simpson tape. Now, let's go to this. Come on, baby. Let's go to this. All right. So the reason why I pulled that up at the end, because remember I told you guys about Jackson Dart? He made a throw into the end zone. And when she cut it in between the defenders with the wide receiver, and you said, yeah, that dude is tough. That's an NFL quarterback. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is an NFL throw. Cutting it in between the linebacker underneath. The running back beats him. The defender to the outside beats him with inside leverage. But you only have a short window. Red zone defense. Trying to beat it is ridiculously tough, specifically at the goal line, because all of the defenders are in that area. Everything is tight. So to be able to hit that back foot, understanding where the leverage is and understanding where the defender is, you put that ball on the money, bang. That is an NFL quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll stand on that. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I got to eat crow. I wish I had the sound effect right now because bravo to Tai Simpson with what he was able to do. Now, let's pull up the research mode because we got to pull up these stats. So let's take this bad boy off. All right, here we go. Hopefully, I don't get hit. So these are the LA Rams stats following today. Tai Simpson went 21-25, 190 yards, 2 tutties, 7.6 yards, well, the average, 125 rating. Stetson Bennett, 4-6, 38 yards, 6.3 average, 84 rating. Yeah, I was about to say Samson. Simpson looked way better than him. Jordan Waters, I believe, ran the ball pretty well. 5 carries, 37 yards. He looked good. 26-yard run was his longest. Jarquez Hunter, in my opinion, he showed some explosiveness. He showed what he did in college. And as all of you know, I spoke highly of Jarquez Hunter. 9 carries, 35 yards. 13 was his longest run. 13-yarder. Dean Connors, the fan favorite, ladies and gentlemen. 6 carries, 22 yards, 3.7 yards per carry. 11-yard carry was his longest. Tai Simpson ended up getting one carry, -1 yard. Don't matter. Brennan Presley, 4 receptions, 58 yards. He looked fantastic today. Mark Redmond looked really good today, too. And I don't know if he's going to make the 53. Probably not. No way the Rams are going to carry 6 tight ends. But Mark Redmond, if he is able to make it past waivers, he's going to be on that practice squad, and he is going to be that backup, that guy that they're relying on right here. This kid can play. Max Clare, the pick that a lot of you guys were like, why we drafted a tight end? I don't know. But a lot of y'all was like that. Remember, I came on here and told you guys that this kid, he could run routes and he is a receiving threat. And ladies and gentlemen, I love the way Max Clare looked today. Great hands, great focus, moved really well, ran the routes really crisp. I think we see what their plan is with Max Clare, honestly. I think we see it. I think we see it, ladies and gentlemen. I love how he looked today. Dean Connors had 4 receptions, had 29 yards, 2 tutties. Dean Connors looked like a problem today. I'm going to tell you this. I know Ronnie Rivers is there as the RB3 right now. He didn't suit up. But y'all going to sit here and tell me Ronnie Rivers deserves the nod over a guy like Jarquez Hunter and Dean Connors? In my opinion, I would be having an open competition for Hunter, Connors, and Rivers. Honestly. Show me something. Show me something. You got to be the best, you got to beat the best, man. Come on. We'll put together a stacked roster, man. Come on. That's just how I look at it. You guys let me know in the comments what you think. Xavier Smith had himself a great game, ladies and gentlemen. 4 receptions, 26 yards. Longest reception was 13 yards, 4 targets. CJ Daniels, ladies and gentlemen, 5 targets, only had 2 grabs, 18 yards. 9 yards on the average. In my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, I thought CJ Daniels generated a lot of separation today. So here's the deal. I need to see more CJ Daniels in the next game. Because I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm a little concerned because as much as all of you know, I spoke really, really highly of CJ Daniels. But it is clear who the 4 guys are. It's going to be Puka, Devontae, no duh. Then it's going to be Jordan Whittington and Konate Mumfield. So who's that 5th receiver going to be? I don't believe they're going to carry 6. I believe they're going to carry 5 tight ends on this roster, in my opinion. So who is going to be that 5th receiver? And right now it's an open battle between Presley and Daniels. And it would not surprise me because we've seen this in the LA Rams history with Snead and McVay that they will cut a late round draft pick. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an extremely tough roster. Extremely tough roster to make. The LA Rams, this goes back to what I told you guys. They're so loaded on this roster. I know they keep saying we're an aging veteran team. That's not the case. If you watch the previous episode, I debunked that. If you take away 4 of their oldest players, they have the 4th youngest roster in the NFL. So they're allowing 4 people to decide what the totality of the team is, which is completely unfair. There's 53 men on the roster. So technically, the 49 other players, okay, equate to that young team. So this team has talent, man. Tyler Scott, we'll finish talking about him. 1 reception, 13 yards. He only had 1 target. Before we read out the defense, I want to go back to the full view, okay? Now, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. With this roster, there are many things in play right now, okay? A lot of things that we need to, in my opinion, look at. How does that battle look with the rotational pieces at the edge position? We saw Desjuan Johnson in the 4th quarter. Not going to lie to you with how Wesley Bailey looked today. Collapsing the pocket at ease almost all game long. You saw him on tape. That's why I had the opportunity to sit down and rewatch the game to make sure, obviously I'm in traffic, but to rewatch the highlights and see how it looked. Bailey made his presence known. Tim Keenan, if you follow me, I spoke about how much I like Tim Keenan as a run stuffer and what he brought to the table and how I told you guys that is a guy they're going to develop and he's likely going to take over Poona Ford's role. And ladies and gentlemen, Tim Keenan, 5 tackles, clogging up the lanes. The run defense wasn't great at times, but I thought Tim Keenan did a phenomenal job. You got him in the 7th round. He ain't going nowhere. Had a sack today. Bailey looked good. You know what I mean? Like, just the way the defense played overall, we'll get to that. But, man, what an outing by some of these young guys you needed to see something from. I mean, the only one that didn't show me something really was CJ Daniels. And even then, his tape, he's cooking cats. So it's just a matter of him making the play. Or the quarterback getting it to him accurately. Because, you know, it takes 2 sides to play ball in that retrospect, right? But overall, ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comments how you feel. Listen, I don't care about the result. I don't care about the win or loss. Doesn't matter. How does the tape look? And with our young guys, it looks good. Let's talk about the special teams operation. Special teams operation looked fluid. Looked like everything done was with a 10. Everything looked cohesive. You didn't feel nervous. It just operated the way you wanted it to operate. Yes, it is preseason game one. It's not the regular season, so you can't overreact too much. But it just looked the part. And for a team that their biggest weakness was their special teams, the reason why the LA Rams, ladies and gentlemen, are not Super Bowl champions right now is because of their special teams unit. They don't give up that punt return on Thursday Night Football. Ladies and gentlemen, the LA Rams are your Super Bowl champions right now. But we don't live in a world of what ifs and ifs or buts. We don't live in that world. For us to see some positive improvement with our special teams and look good. Xavier Smith, ladies and gentlemen, when I first started creating content on this channel, I made a video talking about the offseason. And I told you guys that I would give Xavier Smith another chance because notoriously in his time here, yes, he had a rough NFC Championship game. But you can't let one game decide his fate when he's been so good for you in that position. And he also had a role as a deep threat. So yes, it makes sense for a guy like Xavier Smith to be a part of this team because he can contribute as a receiver and as a special team guy. So today when we saw that punt return, we saw some positive things from Xavier Smith. Let me see if I can pull up that bad boy right now to show you guys because, let's pull this bad boy up. Let's put this right here. Because I know a lot of you guys were out on my brother X, and I told you, you can't just let him go, man, off of one game. You know what that would be the equivalent to? How we looking at Xavier Smith is how people are looking at Puka Nacua. They're letting a couple of issues in the offseason basically dictate who he is. And ladies and gentlemen, you cannot allow a couple of incidents overshadow, at this point, 2.5 seasons, 3 years of great play. Sorry, it is. That's not how this works. See, even just look at how it looks. Confident. And this is preseason, so we don't know how this is going to look in its totality, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know when those lights get bright. We don't know. But just look. Sorry, I don't know why this is up like this. Look at this. Great blocking. Yo, let's go. Look, make somebody miss. Great block. Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why you just don't give up on players. This is why. Go back to the stats. Look. Xavier Smith, 4 receptions, 26 yards. Can make things happen after the catch, and people forget. The reason why we let go of Atwell was because they felt really comfortable in Xavier Smith being the deep threat. That's why we did it, ladies and gentlemen. So again, let me know in the comments what you think. We'll go to the defense now. All right? Before we read out these stats, pull up the full view. We need to talk about the defense. So hold on. Let me take this bad boy off. So let's chop it up about the defense, ladies and gentlemen. We have to talk about this. Because I thought the unit played really well outside of two things that annoyed me a little bit. Number one, I didn't think they did a great job against the run today. Their open field tackling was not great today. That was something that cost them last year. And yes, they are backups, so take it with a grain of salt. But the running back from Kansas City today, Smith, ran through a lot of arm tackles. I did not want to see that. Now, I will say this. The Rams had opportunities to make plays. They were in good positions just to execute at times with the tackling in open field. But I thought the defensive line played extremely well. You only gave up 12 points on the road. It's the preseason, whatever. But I thought that they were stout. They made the quarterback's job difficult. You felt their presence. I thought the coverage was really good. I thought we saw some really, really positive things. I thought our defenders were in spots where they needed to be. I thought you saw a lot of good things with our second and third string guys. Well, mainly third string guys. But ladies and gentlemen, this is what you want to see from the LA Rams. I came on here and told you guys that this LA Rams roster is extremely good and very well put together. has the proper balance with youth and the old. Well, has the proper balance with the youth and the vets. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at what these players are doing right now, it shouldn't surprise you. The Rams, once again, finding somebody like a Bailey, finding a Keenan. You know what I mean? That shouldn't surprise you that they're finding this caliber of talent later on in the draft. It just shouldn't surprise you anymore. And I thought, outside of my critiques with the tackling in the open field and the way the run game, they weren't able to slow down the run right now at an elite level. I want to say, let's pull up the stats. Let's look at them. Let's pull it up. 21 rush attempts for the Rams, 93 yards. 28 rush attempts for the Chiefs, 125 yards rushing. It's unacceptable to me. 4.5 yards per carry. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys already noticed how this works. And yes, it is the backups, okay? You guys already know how this works. Let's pull up the full view. When you cannot stop the run, we already know how teams are going to be this. They're going to play clock control. They're going to try to stay ahead of the sticks, be in positive situations because they already know the defensive line that we have. They're going to run the ball a lot. If you do not lock up the run game and force them to drop back and pass, you now put these teams in second and manageables, third and manageables, allows them to have the totality of that playbook open for them, whether you don't know if it's quick pass or play action play. It basically forces you to play a little bit off balance. Yes, it's the backups, but I need to see a better job against the run. You guys let me know in the comments. Were you a little bit disappointed with the run defense? For me, I was a little disappointed. But outside of that, in the open field tackling, I thought coverage-wise, they did great. I thought the defensive line got after it. They looked really good. You felt their presence all game long. The stats suggest that. Let's pull up the stats right now. Pull it up. Look. First downs, 9 passing first downs, 7 rushing first downs. 9 passing first downs. That's a great day at the office. 7 to 16 on third down. Not bad. 64 total plays, 314 total yards. Look, more plays, less yards than the LA Rams. 9 total drives, yards per play, 4.9. That's a solid day. Passing, 189 yards. 22 of 34, 5.3 yards per pass. Like, ladies and gentlemen, that's a good day at the office for the pass defense. They look good, man. 2 sacks, 13 yards lost. They look good. And they were also in positions to make plays. This could have been a better defensive performance by our guys that may not even be making this roster. But again, y'all told me the LA Rams got an old roster, right? Go figure. Go figure. That's what the media does, ladies and gentlemen. So let's pull up the box score. And now we're going to go over some of the players' highlights. Nick Anderson, ladies and gentlemen. 9 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 tackle for loss. Tanner Engel, 5 total tackles, 5 solo. Had a solid day. Val Curcio, I badly mispronounced that name. 5 total tackles, 3 solo. Reichert, 5 total tackles, 2 solo, 1 tackle for loss. Tim Keenan, defensive tackle, ladies and gentlemen. 5 total tackles, 1 solo, 1 sack. Darrell Peterson, 5 total tackles, 1 solo, almost had a sack. Bill Norton, 5 total tackles. Monty Rice had a good game. 4 total tackles, 3 solo, 1 tackle for loss. I like the way he looked today. I'm bad at names. 4 total tackles, 3 solo. Alex Cooks, 4 total tackles, 1 solo. Cam Lampkin, I thought played pretty well today. We got to see what the PFF grades are. 3 total tackles, 2 solo. Hill Green, 3 total tackles, 2 solo. Hamilton, 3 total tackles, 2 solo. For what it's worth today, I'm going to tell you this. My man, Tai Hamilton, looked pretty good today. I thought he played well. I'm not even going to bother to pronounce his name. I'm sorry. 3 total tackles, 2 solo. Desjuan Johnson, 2 total tackles, 2 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. Desjuan Johnson played well. Surprised he played as deep as he did into the fourth quarter. I don't know what happened with that. Zach McPherson, 2 total tackles, 1 solo. Wesley Bailey, I got to see the pressure count on him. He had a great game. 2 total tackles, 1 solo. Ty Hamilton, 2 total tackles, 1 solo. Moy, 2 total tackles, 1 solo. Cardona, 1 total tackle. Kier Thomas, 1 total tackle. Dean Connors, 1 total tackle. Alex Johnson, 1 total tackle. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the stats following Rams preseason game 1. And boy, oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, the battles are on full display. The offensive line today, ladies and gentlemen, they had themselves a fantastic day. Keegan Tross played extremely well today, ladies and gentlemen. And again, going back to, get rid of this, pull up the full view. And going back to what I said, ladies and gentlemen, Keegan Tross is one of those guys that I told you he's going to be the replacement of Avila. What you saw today, ladies and gentlemen, was a defensive line. Well, offensive line. Sorry. Hi, puppy. You want to finish out the video with Daddy? Here, come on. What you saw today, ladies and gentlemen, was... You saw... What's up, Brunson? Ladies and gentlemen, what you saw today by our LA Rams is a team that once again has drafted and developed well. Their young players look to be really good. The Rams have a good problem to have, but bad type of problem to have. And that is the guys that you have drafted and developed. They are good. They could probably make any other team's 53 total man roster. They could probably do that. But you can't do that on this LA Rams team. And that's unfortunate for these players. Because we're going to lose some good players who've shown to be really productive today. And again, I'll end it like this. That RB3 situation, you need to have an open competition with that. I like the way Hunter looked. I like the way Connor looked. I don't think we should be conceding that to Ronnie Rivers. That's just my opinion. You guys can let me know in the comments. Are we going to carry 6 receivers potentially? Xavier Smith makes the roster, but is this going to be a toss-up between C.J. Daniels and Presley? I don't know how you can say no to Presley. He's been playing really, really well for you. I don't know. I think C.J. Daniels gives you a little bit more explosiveness. But again, I believe that C.J. Daniels is going to have to force. He's going to have to force his hand and show them that he could play to make this roster based off of today. I mean, he showed us separation. He got to make plays. He has to have a productive game the next go-around. Sorry. He's going to have to. Max Clare showed us something. Looked really, really, really good. Looks like we're going to carry 5 tight ends going into this season. Where are we at with our backup guys at the edge rushing position? Are we going to take Johnson? Well, let's put it this way. Are you going to take Bailey over Kier Thomas? I think you gotta keep that open, man. I'm telling you, you gotta keep these battles open. But you guys, you let me know in the comments, how do we feel with what we saw today? I think what we're gonna see now, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna see teams that are gonna get some of these players that should make this team, but unfortunately the roster is so loaded with talent that they're not gonna be able to make this team. And you're going to see these players very similar to the situation we had last year with the Philadelphia Eagles. You remember the lineman that we let go of? I want to say it was Willie Lampkin. Was that his name? I think it was Willie Lampkin. I forget his last name. I think it was Willie Lampkin. Pull it up. Research mode. Yeah, Willie Lampkin. My man was out there pancaking cats last year. Pancaking them. And couldn't make the 53. And remember I told you guys that he needed to make the 53. He didn't. Ended up signing with the Philadelphia Eagles. It happens. So, trust and believe, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have more players sign elsewhere. But again, ladies and gentlemen, I know I spoke about the O-line, but you got to give them credit, man. I want to wrap up this video, but I want to make sure everybody gets their love today. I don't care about the result. I know Tai Simpson had himself a day, ladies and gentlemen, but that offensive line is player of the game. The amount of quality pockets that they were putting out there today, ladies and gentlemen. The LA Rams have the best offensive line coaches in the business. The best lineman developmental coaches in the business, ladies and gentlemen. That O-line looks sensational today. I don't care if it was against backups or players that may not make the teams. I don't care about that. The way they were protecting from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, ladies and gentlemen, if that doesn't get you excited, because they were over here telling us what? The LA Rams don't have no depth at the offensive line position. And I came on here and I debunked that for y'all. And that's how we're going to end this video. Shout out to the O-line, man. They are the real MVPs of this game. And then, Tai Simpson. They calling him Tai 2 Dimes now. We going there? Angel, we going there. Tai 2 Dimes for Tai Simpson. I see my brothers over there at Rams House TV talking about that. So you guys let me know in the comments what we think about it. But that's all I got for you guys. I'll catch you on the next one. And before I officially end it, just want to give you guys a heads up. I would not be posting a video over the course of the next 3 days. I have to put together a video of the event that I went to today. And there's also some meetings happening. We're working on something right now with the So Far, the Ram Syndicate podcast, in which we're going to be bringing you all a new show, a weekly show. So we're working on that right now, getting the things set in stone right now, the date we're going to go live and when that's going to happen. And I'm also working on my own podcast with a buddy of mine talking about basketball and football. So we're working on that right now. So right now we're doing meetings. We're trying to set things up, and we're trying to get this more towards a live-based show. So forgive me, next 3 days we're not going to be working on that. We just have to facilitate some things so that we can make sure that all of you get as much updated content as possible, but fresh content. I want to be able to go at least maybe 2 or 3 shows a week where we have that partner and we can have takes going back and forth. But that's all I got for you guys. Angel, say bye to them. Say bye. Bye. Peace. I'll catch you on the next one.